there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto channel. We've got this 05 Chevy 1500. It's the 5.3 VIN Z. I guess that probably really doesn't make a whole ton of difference. I came in for an inspection, money lights on, and honestly, I did not anticipate on doing a video because I just thought it was going to be some, run-of-the-mill type stuff, and it actually started out that way. It's got a Bank 2 Sensor 2 02 sensor code. Hope I said that right. For some low voltage. I seen that and I was like, I'm gonna do a video. We've got a ton of videos on, O2 sensor testing, circuit testing, bypass testing, and all that business. You've done one, you've done them all. So I still have to check that out. Maybe that could be something cool, but I doubt it. It's stuck at like 0 volts. So what else is there? Had a PO300 in it, misfire. So it's got, I don't know, 130, 140,000 on it, something like that. So I'm thinking, probably plugs and wires, no big deal. Maybe a coil or something, who knows. But you know me, I will not go and just wing some parts at it just because we think that's what it might be. So we wanted to get some definitive testing. So I took her for a little shimmy down the road and didn't really notice anything. Rear O2 sensor's not working naturally. But as far as the misfire, didn't notice much. But I did notice when I brought it back and had it in idle, I was getting a little bit of like a fish bite misfire, but not like a dead cylinder misfire. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But then you're like, you turn off the AC, you turn off the radio, turn everything off, and you're kind of listening, and you think you can feel it, but then you like convince yourself you can't. You listen to the tailpipe and you hear it, it's kind of lopey. I was like, like that. That's my best impression of that. And then occasionally as it got warmer you could feel the misfire, but like I say, it was more like a low cylinder contribution and not really like a dead cylinder miss. So I went in, had a scan tool looking at misfire data, and I could see the number 6 cylinder was the primary culprit for the misfire, and you could watch it just start counting up, although it wasn't a dead misfire. So then I went into some bidirectional controls where I could actually kill the number 6 cylinder, just so I could make sure I wasn't, tricking myself. And sure as heck, you kill the number 6, it was obvious. It was bum, 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 dead miss. This was like a low contribution, almost like, like you get Subarus, where, the 2.5s, start getting leaky valves, and, you get that low compression, so you only had like that misfire at an idle, but going down the road it was fine. It's kind of like that. But it was intermittent, so I knew, or I suspected it wasn't anything engine mechanical related, low compression type relation, that type of stuff. With that being said, I decided to go kind of the simplest route first. I wanted to look at injector waveforms to see perhaps if we had an injector starting to fail, which I was a little hesitant to do simply because I can't ever recall finding a bad injector on a 5.3. But just the symptoms that this thing exhibited, I wasn't expecting to find a bad coil or a bad, spark plug or, something engine mechanical. So that is the reason I started where I started, when typically I wouldn't have started there. And oddly enough, Ivan did a video on this today too, on a Toyota, which I'll link in the description, because oddly enough, again, we got the same waveform. And I can't say I've ever seen this on a Chevy, but I wanted to bring you guys along. I know this won't relate to a lot of you folks. Some people kind of complain when we do, some diagnostic videos like this. But for those of you who enjoy this, I think you'll really enjoy this. And I'd be happy to hear your comments as to whether or not you yourself have found bad injectors on these 5.3s and 4.8s and 6.0s and stuff, because we see a lot of them in our area, and I can't say I've ever seen a bad injector on one of these, particularly like a shorted injector, like I've seen that we've run across here. Now I do know we're gonna have a lot of people say that they've changed injectors on these. That's a lot different than actually proving that you have a bad one. So I would only be interested to know if people have actually proved that they've had bad injectors, either via scope, ohm meter, something like that. Just simply because I haven't seen it yet, and maybe I've just gotten lucky so far. So let me show you where we're at. I've got a few channels hooked up here on the Veris. I guess we'll start right here, the fuse box. I went ahead and removed the fuses that control the injectors, and they also control the ignition coils. So it's these two fuses here. 1 and 2, which we come down here, it's injection 2 and injection 1, these 15 amperes. I took those out, I put loops in place of it so I could hook them onto our low current clamp that's hooked to the Varus. Being that I was using the Autel here, get this thing turned on, it's almost quitting time. I was looking at the misfire data and I could see the number 6 cylinder was our primary culprit. I naturally went to the control side of the number 6, and then just kind of as a reference and for the sake of testing, I went to the number 2 also, which is fires right before the number 6, if I remember right, on these. These don't have your typical Chevy, 1843657 fire in order. They changed them on these. But I believe the number 2 was right next to the number 6. So that's where we're at. We'll take and it's been sitting here for a little bit because I wanted to make a vid, so I had to go do some other stuff real quick. But I didn't want to miss this. This is really good. So channel 2 again is our number 6 cylinder. Channel 3 is the number 2 cylinder injector control wire, and number 1 is going to be our current ramp. And then we'll pull up the misfire data over here so we can see that, because that's a little easier than using the Varus for everything. So we'll take and start this up. Hopefully it's still skipping or misfiring. If I have to zero this out. Grab our misfire data so we can see that live. Alright, so we can see our current cylinder misfires, kind of slowly going up there. Nothing real fast, so it's kind of, intermittent. Getting a few on, 4, 3, but primarily number 6. That's the one we're really focused on. Sometimes one cylinder can, reflect a misfire on another cylinder. Also, too, keep in mind we have an O2 sensor. It's stuck at 0, so our fuel trim's a little wonky on bank 2. I guess I can show you that one right here, just to kind of straighten out some of that. Any questions there? It's our long-term fuel trim is -12. Yeah, it's a -12. So it's still within fuel control. I mean, it's short term still hanging in there. So I'm not super excited about that. But we do have O2 sensors, bank 2 sensor 2. When it warms up, essentially just quits, or you can actually see right there it's not working. So I'll pop back in the misfire data. So again, number 6 cylinder. And then when we look at our scope here, so again, just for reference, we've got our current ramps down here. So the tall spikes are going to be our ignition coils. So you can see them drawing about 5 amps. And then down here is our injectors, and you can see those are about 1 amp. Our blue trace again is a number 2 cylinder, so that's a picture perfect injector waveform, secondary or control side and current ramp. But then we come over here and we can see our problem. So this is our number 6. We can see the control side works. It's running about battery voltage, gets pulled to ground. When the coil's released, there's no feedback voltage, so it just goes back to battery voltage. But we can see on our current ramp, look how high amperage that's drawing. So that's drawing almost. Just kind of have to stop this for a second. See if we can get it in the screen. So what's that at? That's at about almost 3 amps. So that injector is definitely shorted, and it's also reflected right there in the control side too. So what we can do, we'll move our trigger, and we'll take and we can zoom right in on that. Change our time basis a little bit. And you can see clearly that injector is shorted. And I haven't done it yet, but we can take and unhook that number 6 and we can prove it with ohm test. And we should see really low resistance, but it's, you know, good, just like Ivan did in his video, how he went and checked the driver. In this case, we don't have to because we're able to get to the injector. So even though this injector is shorted, it did not ruin our computer, which is good for the customer. So I'd share that with you guys. I've gone ahead and unplugged a couple injectors, number 6 and number 4. I've got a couple little probes here. What we'll do is we will, well actually we should probably hook these to our meter first. We'll ohm test these to see if that also gives us some direction here. I suspect the number 6 will be lower than the number 4. So let's see. I guess we got to get out of here. Oops. We'll go to scope multimeter, digital multimeter, ohms. We don't want to calibrate our probes. We'll go on our 40 ohm scale. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, get that here. Oh my gosh, hang on. We don't want to drop it. So we'll do that. Let's just check a, oh geez, my test lead's starting to split out on me. Wearing them out, man. I'll check the number 4 here first. Hopefully I grabbed the right probes. Yeah, they're a little snug, but that'll be okay. So we've got 14.35 ohms on a good injector. It's pretty toasty back here. And what do we got here? 4.61 ohms on our bad injector. Let's check another one. Get these things unplugged. They got these silly locks on there. Okay, so this is the number 2. Well, oops. Come on there, little fella. Get my digits to work. 14.45. What was our other one here? 14.40. And what we can do, because we're right here, so that's, you know, definitely proof. It's quite a bit lower. Let's just go back here. We'll go to guided component test. Sometimes this will give us our actual, you know, spec. So go to Chevy, go to 05. We're got Silverado, VinZ. Then we'll go to fuel injection, fuel systems, injector, resistance, 11 to 14 ohms. At room temperature, should be 11 to 14 ohms. I think we pretty much got all the proof we need, folks. We going fishing?
No.
Huh?
No.
Oh, just normal
No,
work.
they were fishing.
Normal work tools.
Taking everything home.
Oh, okay. All right. You going home?
Yeah.
See you at home.
Oh, he's in.
So Ohm's law would tell us at 14 ohms, at about 14 volts, would be about 1 amp, and that's what we saw. And we also saw that 14 ohms, or I'm sorry, you know, approximately 4 ohms at about 14 volts. It's about 3.5 amps. And, you know, that's what Ohm's law tells us also. So everything is affirmative. It's all confirmed. This little guy needs a new injector. And I'm going to go with just one injector, unlike the Corvettes that we do with those Multec injectors where we always do all 8. Ouch. Just got jammed by my probe. you know, like I say, I've never seen one of these fail. I'd be kind of curious to hear what your guys' experience are, if you've seen these, you know, direct short out like this or near, you know, short out. You know, what kind of scope patterns you've, you know, obtained and such. Because I honestly can't say that I've ever run across this, but I would think that in my existence of working on cars, particularly in, you know, pickup truck country, that I would have come across this a time or two. And that's the thing that kind of surprised me, to be honest with you. Even though I elected to start with this test, you know, just be, you know, symptom based. I don't want to say experience based, but experience with that sort of symptom, you know, is leading me towards fuel more than anything. So I was pretty happy to be able to nail this down within, you know, less than a half an hour, to give this guy, you know, an answer. With the mileage and stuff that's on it, it appears to be all original plugs and wires. I'll leave that up to him. I don't think it's going to benefit him much other than, you know, some PM stuff, just to kind of stay on top of it. But I tell you, these, you know, iridium plugs or double platinums, whatever it has in here, you know, typically they wear a really long time. So might just pull one out just to have a look at it. But like I say, I'm thankful that we didn't, you know, just, you know, go fire the old parts cannon at it and, you know, blast it with some plugs and wires and then just end up embarrassed in the end because you didn't fix it. So this just kind of reinforces the point to test and not guess. And again, I'll put a link to Ivan's video where he had the same exact diagnosis on a Toyota and was able to put in just, you know, one injector and not, you know, roll the diagnostic dice on that one too. So look in the description for that. And check us out again on Facebook, Google+, all that business. Subscribe to our channel. We got some good material here, or at least I think we do. Occasionally, once in a while we don't, but sometimes we do. So click that subscribe button. And as always, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.